Viewer discretion is advised.
It makes me train hard because I know the point of where I'm at the moment, people want to take that away from me. And I've got here and I ain't going to let them do that.
Mandate.
Welcome to Mandate, where we navigate fresh perspectives and nothing is off the table. Tonight's guest is from Tamaki Makoto, from West Okilani, West Auckland, but originally was raised and born in the UK, in London. The man also has Trinidad descent, and so he's an extraordinarily skillful boxer. We got our boxer here who has won several titles in New Zealand, national and even going pro as well. So some of the national titles that he's won in terms of amateur, he's won in 2018, 2019, light heavyweight champion of amateur national New Zealand national champion. And also he's won the Jameson belt as well. Jameson belt for being the most scientific male boxer in Aotearoa at that time. But also the man, also national, as the national New Zealand champion. The man has won the IBF, International Boxing Federation, Australasian champion for cruiserweight, and also IBF Australasian champion for light heavyweight as well. And so the man has just gone pro. The man is his record is 16-1-6-0, and so the man hasn't lost a fight, and the man has gone professional. So please welcome on the podcast the man himself, the future cruiserweight champion, maybe even the light heavyweight champion, maybe even heavyweight champion of the world, the man himself, Jerome, aka the Panther, Pampellone.
Sure, bro. Me and True. Thanks for that, bro.
Oh man, thank you, bro. Thank you for coming out. Also, hey, bro, just to set the ball rolling, because we know you got a fight coming up in the 26th of August.
Yeah.
And so in terms of the training camp thus far, how's it been for you? I know you've done other training camps and before prepping for the other fights, but in terms of this one, what are some of the key learnings you've garnered this time round, or if there's anything that you've learned or anything new in terms of this camp thus far?
So I'm in the middle of my camp. I'm probably 4 weeks out. Camp's usually about 10 weeks normally. I'm in the bit where it's just grueling and hard at the moment. It's just fitness, long sparring rounds. I'm just at the core bit, but I've got a southpaw this time, so I've got different southpaw sparring, which I'm lucky to have around. That's local, which is cool. Basically I'm just working on that southpaw because my previous fights I had orthodox fighters. Obviously they were coming forward, trying to take my head off. That's how they wanted to win. But I feel for this, I watched a bit of this. This fighter, he's a bit of a tricky move around dude. So I got to try different things. I'm always learning. But that's why I love boxing. You can't stop learning. Yeah. Man,
awesome, bro. Because obviously with this fighter, because he's from South Africa, is he?
Yeah,
South African opponent. And so watching the footage and so forth, what are some of the new, maybe you can't share the ins and outs in terms of the fight, but what are some of the some of the things you're probably expecting in terms of wanting to operate when you're in the ring with this guy?
My style, I like to be right in front of their face. I like to avoid punches, come back with punches, and I think that's what I do in a fight, and that's what I feel I'm going to do in my next fight. He's going to move around a lot, so I just got to, cut off the ring, make sure my legs are good, and just hopefully get that shot. I just got to, it's a great fight for me because he's ranked high in the box rec. I think he's like 29 in the world, and this is a different title for me. It's IBF International. I think that's what the title's called, which is another step closer, another step higher than the titles I had before. It's pretty much apparently it's like a couple of steps down from the world title, which is the big goal, obviously. So hopefully winning this fight, hopefully that will put me in the top 3, which is crazy to say, but it's a cool feeling to say that, but puts me in the top 3, and then I'm just a couple more, maybe 1 or 2 fights away for that world title fight. Yeah.
Ooh, man.
So cool.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Sure. Also, for those that are just jumping on the podcast and sort of new to your face, like, are you able to tell us a bit about your story, like how you came to transition from playing rugby into boxing and just your love for the sport?
So since I was young, I always played rugby. So I was born in England. I played rugby in England. Came over to New Zealand when I was about 10 years old. I moved to Kelston in West Auckland. That's where I spent about 5 years there. So most of my childhood was around there. But it's funny because I love playing rugby. So that my goal was, I want to be All Black. That was the goal. I wanted to be All Black. But after, when I was in Kelston, I moved to Sunnyvale, which Isaac was my next door neighbour. He pretty much had a little gym going on next door. Took me probably a couple years to find the courage to actually go and ask. Cause it was funny because my window for my bedroom, I could see outside onto where they used to train. So they used to be loud as smashing the bags. I was like, annoying. It was annoying at one point, but my dad always said, just go ask if you can train with him. Because I wanted to get fit, obviously, for rugby. Everyone says boxing's the one to go to. Went over to Isaac, pretty much asked, can I come train for a bit? He said, yeah, come next week, blah, blah, blah. Showed up late. My first time, which was thick. But he gave me another shot. He said, "Oh, all good, come another time." Kind of just went off from there, man. I was still playing rugby and boxing at the same time for a while. Even Isaac came to a couple of my rugby games while I was still playing. But probably my fifth fight, I would say. Probably my fifth. I fought pretty quick. I was probably training with him for about 3-4 months. And he was like, "You want to have a fight?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll have a fight." Like not knowing much about boxing at all. Had my first fight, had about 5 fights, and then I just started loving it more. Started fading a bit away from rugby and focusing more on my boxing. And just stuck with it now, yeah.
Man. Was it hard to give up that sport and decide, man, this is the sport I want to do?
It was weird because the start of the journey, it just felt everything was just happening. I was kind of just going with the flow, but I just felt as soon as I started training more and getting more involved with the boxing, more opportunities popped up. Got the chance to go and around New Zealand and fight different fighters. I sometimes look back and obviously miss rugby at times because that's what I always played, rugby, but my passion's boxing now, yeah.
And so if you were to, let's say tomorrow you wake up and you could choose to be the world champ or put on the All Black jersey, what would it be?
A world champ.
Yeah, nice. I know. It's cool that we're sitting with the future world champ.
Yeah, man.
So
manifest.
Sure, man. So I always enjoy having my nephew over to man, awesome, man.
And what was your dad all good? Did he support the transition from rugby to boxing?
Yeah, he kind of
all the way.
Yeah, he just seen I enjoyed it. He just saw as I fought more often. He saw that I was dedicating myself to it, staying out of trouble. He just saw I was enjoying it, and I didn't realize until how many fights you reckon? Probably 10 odd fights. I think I won my first 10 fights, and then I went to nationals. So with Isaac, his thing was just chucking us in, and you have a swim or you drown kind of thing. And a lot of times it worked, and sometimes it didn't, but it was all part of the journey. But I think I had 10 fights before I had my first loss. My first loss was at Nationals. And my first fight at Nationals, and I had a draw. My first draw was against someone that had 80 fights or something. I had 10 fights or something. And he was my first draw, and it was well, we're here now. So, and that's the first fight I lost, but I did well. And kind of from then on, just carried on. Even my dad comes to all my fights. Mum started to come to my fights, but obviously mum's mum, she's scared. She's scared of what's going on. But she finally found the courage to keep coming, and I love their support. And knowing that they're there, it's huge. Yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
Did that loss make you hungry for the sport, to wanna train harder and invest into sport so you could win, or?
It was, Yeah, because it was all new. Because I wasn't fighting for that long, probably under a year. So the whole thing was all new. Like losing in the fight, winning the fight, fighting in general was all new. But my biggest, I reckon, I had a big loss probably 20 fights in. That was probably that switch to that made me more hungrier, because I fought someone from Australia. He was an experienced fighter. I had about 20 odd fights in. I lost quite badly, and it was quite a bad loss. But it was one of those losses. It was one of those like, frick, is this for me, or frick, I want to come back. And I felt that was like, nah, I want to come back. I know I can do better than this, and I kind of stuck with it.
A lot of fighters, like, they have like this background story, like either being bullied or always been fighting, or they're on one path, but boxing sort of saved them from it. Like, what was your one? Was it for the girls, or was it you just like punching people in the face?
Nah, I think there's a lot around boxing. I think it's obviously I enjoy it. How would I say? I didn't fight much at school. I was around at school. There was a lot of fights, so I saw it a lot. But I think I was just quite a hypo kind of child. Always on the move, and I felt boxing, I could always be on the move all the time, and it kind of suited my personality, I reckon. But yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's interesting, Jerome, because you talk about Isaac, next door neighbor. And so would it be fair to say, if Isaac wasn't in the picture, if he wasn't your neighbor, you would still be pursuing the black jersey or trying to get into the rugby?
I would try, but you never know, because Isaac and Bose, they played a huge part in my boxing journey. It's not like going into boxing, it wasn't just as easy as just, I'll try this and I'm doing all right. It was day in, day out there. Their support was huge, and I learned everything through them. So, everything. I didn't how to punch, how to throw my right hand, everything. So, having their support it's molded me into the fighter I am today, 100%.
It's amazing. Because it would have been like kismet, like in terms of fate, that it was just the way that it just all kind of panned out, with leaving the boxing into leaving the rugby into the boxing arena.
It was weird, because like I keep saying, it's just like I just kind of went with the flow. I didn't really know what was happening. I was just enjoying what I was doing, and I just started getting big opportunities. I started getting opportunities to go overseas. Then I finally clicked, like, bro, I'm doing quite well, and I love doing it, and it was getting serious. And then when I started to finally realize it was getting serious, that's when I was like, I've got lots of things change. Just having a nutritionist, because I used to like eat whatever, do whatever, but now it's gone more serious. Having a nutritionist is huge. That's been a huge part of my pro career. I don't realize how much eating the right foods and just drinking lots of water is something so simple that it's just what you need to be on that level. 100%. Yeah.
Jeez, man.
From your room, how you looked outside and you saw them boxing. What was the other house like? Could you see anything else in the room?
I could only see.
Was it mud wrestling?
I could only see the girls. That's all I could see from my view.
Okay, why are you going to bed at 4 o'clock?
So creepy out the window.
Hey, but
That's why they call you the Panther.
Strike center.
Jerome,
You got me there.
Oh man, it's really cool to hear your perspective in terms of like writing, like going with the flow. And I think sometimes people, we're all guilty of it. Sometimes we overthink things, or we get so caught up in how things come together. But sometimes we just need to like ride the wave, kind of thing. Is that something that, like, are your parents kind of have that attitude as well? Like, where did that kind of just go with the flow and let things fall into place come from?
That's a good question. I'm not sure, but I grew up. My parents they taught me to be, you know, just respectful, you know, care for everyone, be myself, you know, and I just felt that boxing was something that I could be myself in doing all the time. You know, I just love going to the gym. It sounds weird because when I first started, my mates would be like, "Well, you just like punching things every day." That used to be like punching people every day. But it's not just that. It's just I feel it's everything around it. I just feel the discipline behind it, the focus, the ambitions. There's just a lot of it's huge. I reckon outside of boxing as well, what it's done for me as well. You know, not just inside the ring. It's taught me a whole lot of things outside the ring too.
Man, because I think that was one of the craziest things. Like I heard that I heard you took 2 fights in one night.
Yeah.
At one time and won both of them.
Yeah.
The other thing I heard was that not long after you turned pro, you had your son. And so I was always like, I'm always fascinated by people who can have this crazy ambition to like do something like be world champ, but also deal with being present as a father, as a partner, all that sort of stuff, as a son. How do you manage that in terms of making sure your family get decent time with you, but you're still putting in, like in the middle of camp? How does that work?
Well, I'm quite fortunate because I work with my trainer. So that plays a big part of me being able to go home and be with my family and then go to training. So the balance is great. You know, I'm a plumber. I've nearly finished my apprenticeship, which would be awesome to get over the line. And I work with Isaac. So just me and him and his business. So it's always, boxing's always first. So it's like, hurry up, let's get to training. That's always the thing. But the balance is great. You know, I train. What I do normally, sometimes I train in the morning, go for my morning run, train, work in the day, and then I get to go home for a bit, be with my family for a bit, rest a little bit, go to training, and back with the family. I think that's my routine. I reckon work, training, family. Yeah, but I love it.
Man. Well, how's it? Because it's quite interesting, the relationship of you and Isaac. Obviously, he's your trainer, and then you guys work together. So you're always in each other's space. So can you tell us from your own words in terms of the relationship? And obviously, he's your trainer, but how does that work in terms of being an apprentice under him and working with him, and then switching from trainer to boxing?
I felt it's quite easy. I just feel like he's my bro, you know. So it's like, yeah, we get along well. Obviously, we have different what's the right word? I don't know. Different disagreements and whatnot. That's always the way. But yeah, I'm fortunate to have Isaac, you know, on both sides of the plate. But then also he understands what I'm doing, and I think that's a huge part for a coach, and understanding my mental, how I am mentally, how I am physically. But our relationship's great, you know. We talk all the time, obviously, because of work and boxing. But yeah, we got a great relationship. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome, man.
What's it like, you know, forming relationships with like sparring partners or other people in the gym? Like sometimes there's lots of different personalities in a sport where things are competitive. Even in sparring, sometimes they can get competitive. But like, how do you maintain really positive relationships with everyone in the gym?
I think we're there every day. We're with each other every single day. So obviously you build a bond, you know, with everyone. But we know when it's time to spar, when it's time to work, it's time to work. It's time to spar. Like Andre Mikhailovich, he's one of my main sparring partners, and if you see from his fights, he knocks people out. He's a aggressive fighter. But then that's what gets me prepared for these fights. You know, hugely. Like he's one of the sparring partners that gets me ready for these big fights. But it's easy. We can go 10 rounds of beating each other up, and then after we shake hands and shot, bro, me. You know, it's just something we do every day. You know, and we both understand. Even not with Andre, with everyone I spar in the gym, we understand this. It's work, and this is what's gonna get us better. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So it must make it interesting then at times, because you've had to fight a sparring partner before, yeah?
Yeah.
Your previous fight.
Yeah.
What was that like in terms of, because I'm assuming that's the only person you've had to fight in your career where you've actually spent time sparring with them?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. That was a bit different because it was a bit out of nowhere that there was an opportunity to fight him. But he was a huge sparring partner for me. We used to go out to Papatoe Gym all the way from West Auckland. We used to go there about once a week, spar Mosse. We used to spar Mosse, and it was always great work with him. But obviously fighting him, he's still a friend of mine. He'll always be a friend of mine. But going into the ring, you got one job, and the one job is to win, so that the friendship can be left in the ring, and then the friendship just back straight away after the ring. But yeah, must say, it was a big fight for me. It was a huge fight for me actually because of his name. Everyone knew who he was. He was coming from Australia and whatnot. So it was a lot of pressure on myself too. He came from Australia, even though he was from New Zealand. He came from Australia, and I was defending my belt. But yeah, I think that was a huge part in my journey where I'm going. Yeah.
That's me. Awesome. Also talk to us around about like the mental game when it comes to like fighting, and even like your mental state outside of it, like when things are like just want to give up, or there's stuff that's happening outside of the ring. Like, how do you manage all of that?
I think just telling my partner, telling my coach exactly what's going on. My partner's she's my best friend. I love my partner and my son. We've been living together for a couple of years now, so she's my number one supporter. So anything going on, I talk to her. But mentally, it's definitely huge. It's definitely a huge mental game. Even on the physical side, it's huge too. But just making sure your mind's right plays a huge part. Because there's always doubt. There's always doubt in your mind. Oh, am I ready for this fight? Have I trained my hardest? But just getting rid of those doubts is just by doing exactly that. I know I've trained my hardest. I'm ready for this fight. Just constantly telling myself, I'm ready. Yeah.
Is it easy for you to like tell people what you're going through and what you're thinking?
With my partner, yeah. With my partner, it is, yeah. But in general, I'm quite. I tell people what's going on. I'm not too shaded about it. Obviously, there'll be a few things that you don't want to say or whatever's going on. But I feel that's why my partner's my rock, because I can just talk to her about anything. She talks to me about anything, and once it's spoke about, then it's off my chest, and then back to it. Yeah,
that's cool. No, and I only bring it up because, man, we run this men's podcast, and for a lot of men, like, we don't talk about like some of the stuff that we're going through, and when we bottle it up inside, sometimes when shit hits the fan, like it comes out bad, and so it's cool that trying to get an insight of how you function, and especially like your mental fortitude, and so it's cool, like you have someone that's there that you trust and that you love, and it's like a best friend. It's easy for you to tell her, and even with your trainer. So
100%, yeah,
that's me.
Yeah. Well, I think it's been time, because this is a good one. What Joe was saying, like obviously with the mental game. Obviously, when you're in the ring and outside the ring during training camp and so forth, has there ever been a time when you stepped into the ring and you're like, man, I'm not too sure about tonight? Has it?
I would say there's always, leading up to the fight, I've got to accept how I'm feeling. I've got to accept, what's the way to put it? Because sometimes I could be on the pads before the fight. I'm sharp as, bam, bam, yeah, I'm ready. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm not just there. But then the ones that I'm not just there, I do great. And then the ones that I'm mean, it's hard to explain. But the lead up to the fight, I reckon it changes. I reckon my emotions and feelings, it changes. But then that's why I think with the experience that I have now, that's taught me to focus in, zone in, understand that obviously I'm going to be feeling nervous. That was a big thing. I used to like my feelings before a fight. So that's what I talk about with my coaches. And one of the feelings was I'm nervous, but I'm excited nervous. But then it's controlling it at the same time because you don't want it to overrule you. But I feel when I'm nervous, I'm sharp. So when I'm in the ring, I'm nervous, but then at the same time I'm sharp because I'm nervous. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense because I think a lot of people think you walk into the ring, you think, I'm confident, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get the job done easy. Yeah. But I think it's true what you're saying in terms of being nervous because it's good to be nervous because it keeps you on your toes, eh?
Definitely going confident. Yeah, I understand all the hard work I've done has paid off, but there's always a bit of nerves there. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So there's never been a time you think, okay, this is just controlling the nerves because I can imagine when you walk into the ring, people can shut down and zone in, like you said, zone in. But then some fighters like, oh man, it's overwhelming. It's just, they get carried away with their emotions in the crowd.
Everyone's different. I reckon for me, like, there's some fighters that jump up and down, get into the groove. When I'm walking out, I'm just, boom, I'm just locked in. I'm ready. I'm not looking at the crowd. I'm not thinking. I'm here to fight. You know, I think that's something that I feel I channel well with. In that sense of not getting overwhelmed with the crowd and stuff, I just walk out, just keep my eyes straight, jump into the ring. I'm just fully focused. I'm not paying attention to anything. I'm just paying attention to my goal when I get into that ring. Yeah,
it's cool, man.
Do you block out the noise when you're in that fight? Or can you hear certain voices?
I can hear my coaches.
Oh, okay,
100%. I hear Isaac and Boaz. It's like, it's weird. It's like, because obviously you're in the arena and all you hear is but then something in my mind, I just hear my coaches.
That's cool.
That's all I hear is my coaches, yeah, and the ref.
So you're born in London,
yeah,
and you came over here
10 years old.
10 years old, so in New Zealander,
yeah,
and then you also have I don't know, can't say
it's
it.
from Trinidad.
Trinidad. Descent. What flag are you carrying, or like, how do you which cultural, nationality, or ethnicity do you identify with?
Well, if you ask me what nationality, I'll say I'm Caribbean French. That's what I am. Because I'm from the Caribbean, but I'm from three islands in the Caribbean. I'm from Trinidad, Grenada, and Dominica. And then the other quarter of me is French. So my mom speaks fluent French, and that's something that I've flipping always say. I was like, "Frick, I want to learn it," because now she's talking to my son in French, which is freaking cool to see. It's so cool to see, and I was like, but I'm like, frick, I need to learn it. Can't be talking to my mom in French, you know. I wanna get on that, but that's definitely another goal of mine is to learn French and talk to my mom in French. That would be awesome. Yeah,
that's cool. And do you feel like you rep all those cultures and like being a New Zealander, or because when we have Samoan fighters, he's Samoan, but he's born in New Zealand, or we say New Zealand born Samoan. How do you
mean? I'll say when people ask me, I say I'm a Kiwi born in England, Caribbean ethnicity.
That's
cool.
What yeah. Oh, and Samoan too, eh? Part Samoan too.
Yeah.
You're 685 as well.
That is true, man. It's Pampellone.
My man.
It's cool.
Man, that's such an interesting background. Like, I don't think I've ever met anyone that has that sort of background. And it sort of just goes along with your whole, like, go with the flow. Like, there's not many people that, born in London, moved to literally the opposite side of the world, liked rugby, moved into boxing, and yet you have all this rich cultural heritage. And obviously it's cool that you have that goal to learn French, to speak with your mum. And I think there's a lot of us that are in a similar position. We all sort of grew up in English speaking nations, and we all want to learn our culture, and it's really hard to do, especially as adults, if we haven't been like brought up with it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a blessing that your son is able to get some of that from your mum.
Yeah. Which makes me more wanting to do it as well.
Yeah.
Because whenever they're talking, I'm like, they're like trying to like understand that. But it's like my son can understand more than me because my mum just talks to my son in French, which is it's cool. Yeah,
Man, that's cool. And so, does your dad speak as well?
Nah,
Has he picked it up over?
Nah,
just bits and pieces.
just bits and pieces,
Yeah.
but yeah.
World Cup final. Your family's in the living room. You guys are watching England. Watching England versus the All Blacks. Who you rooting for?
I'm going for the All Blacks. Yeah. My dad would be like, hey!
He's a liar.
Oh, cool. Oh, bro, it's so cool because obviously, because we are the whole guy, all of us here, we're avid boxing fans. We love the fight game and so forth, and it's a real treat for us to have you, and for you to be here tonight. It's just been awesome. But bro, at what point, when you obviously with the boxing, at what point in your career or right now in this moment, did you realize like this is what I want to do? Like regardless of all the other stuff, at what point, whether it be in the training camp, whatever, or experiences you've faced, or fighters or other previous fighters, but at what point in your life where you decided, man, this is clearly what I'm called to do. This is my dream.
I reckon when I started traveling the world with it, I was like, frick, I'm like, I must be doing alright if I'm able to go. I've gone to a few countries as an amateur. I've gone to Russia, which I'm really fortunate enough to go to these countries. I'm so lucky. I went to Russia, Italy. Where else did I go? Australia. Where else did I go? Surely I went to somewhere else. It's gone off my mind now. Jordan. That was a cool experience.
Wow.
So just knowing that. And then also when I went to those countries and fought people that came around the world, I was doing well. So I was like, Rick, I'm gonna stick with it. That's what I kept saying to myself. I'm doing well. I'm fighting internationally and doing well internationally. So I thought to myself, I think around that time, that's when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give this a shot properly. Yeah.
Man, it's amazing, man. Look all it is. It's your talent. I guess you could say your God-given talent. Like you're actually boxing. And you're traveling around the world doing what you love. Mm-hmm. So do you have to like pinch? How often? Because I'm just assuming, how often do you pinch yourself? Say, man, I'm actually living my vocation. I'm actually living my dream, or I'm actually this closer to fulfilling my dream. Do you just wake up sometimes and think, man, I can't believe I'm actually doing this?
Yeah. Now and then I do look back and just realize and understand what's going on and what I'm doing. It's like, but it's a proud feeling for myself. You know, I think proud is the right word. I just feel I'm making everyone proud, and I feel I'm making myself proud. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, bro.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, world champion. Yeah, that's the big goal at the moment. That's my focus.
Yeah.
Is being a world champion, having lots of money.
Yeah.
Having lots of money, and just that's where I see myself.
That's cool, man. Good foresight. It's always interesting in sports because you only have so many years in terms of like your physical prime, and like you're putting your body under so much stress, and especially in boxing, like, to have such a lofty goal, amazing. But then there's also this, like, how do you stay patient and composed for your goals? Because obviously, you have to be careful making decisions, but at the same time, still stay hungry to, like, you must sometimes just want to speed through and, like, hurry up and get there.
Yeah.
But, you kind of have to be patient and composed and, have the right people around you and sort of fight the right opponents. Yeah. How do you sort of view that in terms of balancing?
It's exactly that. Just being patient, because I'm in the gym every day. I just understand this is what I do, and if I keep doing it and I keep performing, keep loving it, I'll get to that stage. But each fight, I feel Isaac, he's always on to the next fight. So like my focus is this fight, and he's already looking at the next fight. Even though obviously our full focus is the fight ahead, but you got to always look a little bit further. But that's his job. My focus is my fight at hand. But like I said, it's the journey I'm in, and I'm just flowing with it. I'm appreciating that. Yeah, I'm just loving it. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool, man.
You know, the fight game's full of characters, and like a lot of fighters these days, or like the top ones, like they have to be like good behind the mic, or they like build up certain fights around like what they do outside of the ring. Like, do you feel pressure to be a certain way, or?
I don't feel pressured, but at times I know that's what people like to see. But I just be myself, and people say just be yourself. You know, I think a big thing was what was it? My dad said when I was little was frick, what was the thing for that? Frick, I forgot what he said. I was gonna say, oh, what was it?
I think it was don't do drugs. I think it was
Stop looking outside that window, son.
Was it actions speak louder than words? Yeah, I think that's something that he said to me, and that's kind of stuck with me with my boxing journey. You know, obviously I'm confident in what I want to do and what I say I'm gonna do, but at the same time I don't need to be jumping up and down, screaming out. I just let my fighting do the talking. Yeah.
You know what I think will take you to extra stardom on your next fight? If you go out for a Samoan flag.
and a Tonga flag.
Whatever country you're fighting in, Aussie flag. Play the sound.
Oh man.
Any goals after boxing or outside of boxing?
Outside of boxing, just being a family man. Like, that's my passion is boxing, and I love my family. You know, I think, you know, the goal is to be a world champion. Obviously, hopefully make heaps of money with it, but also just being there for my family, seeing my son grow up, hopefully have more kids, and just be around. Really, yeah, because there's a lot of sacrifice at the moment going in. As you're saying, how I separate, how I balance it. Or seeing my family, seeing boxing. Boxing does play a huge part, because when I'm training, I'm coming home tired. So I just got to understand. One thing I always say to myself is, when I come home tired from training, and my son wants to play, and I'm like, frick, in my mind, like, frick, I'm tired. But then I say to myself, he doesn't know. He doesn't know I'm flipping training. If I say no, he just thinks, oh, frick, Dad doesn't want to play with me. So I just understand this is what I'm doing, but then I also understand the role of being a dad. Yeah,
it's good, man. Cool. It's good. I like the balance. Yeah, obviously with the boxing, is it, you hear it when boxers kind of go up the ranking and do really well, and then people say, okay, you need to go to the States. Go to the States, maybe go to another stable, maybe switch trainers. Yeah. And you always hear time and time, you probably need a better trainer, all that kind of stuff. Will there ever come a time when you feel like, oh, I don't know, I'm just putting it out there, where there may be a bit of a crossroads in terms of, hey, you know what, I maybe have to go to the next step? Or is Isaac's been really instrumental in terms of your training and coaching. Will there be a time where you're like, man, I might have to kind of move on?
Nah, I'll be with Peach Boxing to the end, bro. That's me. They know me in and out. I think that's what it's about. I've been boxing for 8 years, so they know 8 years of my weaknesses, my good parts. But don't get me wrong, I'm open to other people's opinions and advice, 100%. But I started off with Isaac and Bose and the Peach family, and I'm gonna end with them. Yeah.
It's cool, man. I like the loyalty, man.
Yeah,
it's awesome, bro.
Who are some of the boxers that you looked up to or you look up to?
Definitely Floyd Mayweather. I could keep watching his fights over and over and just try and break it down and see what he's doing, because he's someone that the Philly show was something that Isaac kind of started off at training. He used to try it out, kind of stuck with it, and it's worked. And Floyd Mayweather was the one that cracked that style. So he's someone that I watch a lot. Yeah.
Oh, man.
When it comes to finding your own style in the ring, is that something that's come as a result of feedback, or is it something you've developed watching other people and then trying things out, or is it something that just comes instinctively, like naturally?
I think it's just what I've been taught from my coaches. Because obviously, when I started boxing, I don't know what I was doing. So everything I learned was from Isaac and Boaz. But the style in Peach, the style in Peach is, aggressive, come forward. But everyone says like, yeah, everyone can be aggressive and come forward. But there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it, and obviously, when you're being aggressive and coming forward, there's punches that are coming. So defense is huge. And I feel with that Philly shoulder, I can be aggressive and come forward, but then I can be defensive at the same time. Yeah,
that's cool. And when you think about like world champions or people like Floyd Mayweather, what do world champions do different from other professional boxers? Like, what separates them from the rest? Is it timing? Is it luck? Is it dedication? Like, is there something that you've noticed in world champions that you're like, they do that differently? Like, they're doing something that no one else does.
I'll just say their commitment to the sport. They live it, and that's my goal. After I finish my plumbing apprenticeship, I just want to live it. That's what I just want to focus boxing to get to my goal. But getting that plumbing apprenticeship will be huge. It'll be great to get that over the line. But the goal is to be a full-time boxer. Wake up, train, rest. Family, obviously. Train, rest, train. That's what I want to do, man. I just love this game. Yeah.
That's cool. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, man. So obviously, when you're fighting, when you're in the ring, and everything's just going to plan. When do you kind of sniff like, this is the time I'm going to take this guy out? Like you said, the Peach boxing style is really more aggressive, go forward. But what is it in terms of some of the fights that you've had? Do you feel like, you know what? This is the time I'm going to take this guy out now. This is perfect timing. Describe for us one of the fights that you feel like, man, I got this one in the bag easy.
Before I've stepped into the ring?
Or in the ring, when you're fighting in the ring.
I think it's a moment thing. I think it's hugely a moment thing. You can train so much, but you never know what's going to happen. So I think we train so much, so for whatever does happen, we're prepared for. So anything could happen, you might, how would you explain it? I think the part of when I know I've got him, I just feel it in my opponent. I feel I've got them with a real shot, with a good shot. I think that comes with experience, is knowing that he's hurt and knowing to jump onto him or to set it up. I think it's quite calculated, and I can't. Obviously, like I said, you train different ways, but it's in the moment. Now you have to read your opponent really well to know what's going on, because a lot of opponents they act like they're hurt, and then you don't want to jump off that and then get hurt yourself. So it's just constant. I think it's experience, constant training, and learning different different occasions or what's going to happen in the ring, and just trusting what I'm doing is right, and the gut feeling of what's happening, I go with it.
Awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Speaking of reading opponents, when you're staring down with an opponent, like, are you looking for something? Are there telltale signs? Like, what can you read about an opponent when you're staring them face to face, eye to eye?
Not too much, to be honest. Just look at it as well. I did go for a moment when I was like, don't blink first, don't blink. I went through that moment when I was like, but I don't, in the ring, when I go into the ring, I don't actually look at my opponent. I look at my opponent across the ring. But when I go into the ring, into the middle, when the ref's there, I have my head down. I'm just listening to the refs, focusing on my job, touch hands, go back to the thing. So I'm not. That's just something I always did. I know, and I just felt it worked, so I kind of stayed with it. But in the weigh-in, I do stare them down, because obviously you have to. But then at the same time, it's a hard one. Having the stare down, it's just something you got to do, and it's just you can't read too much off the stare down. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you have like kind of like a ritual before you go on anything? You hear of other sports people that have something to do before the fight or during the fight. What do you do?
There is something I do every time before a fight. So I've got a band that I got for my 21st from my auntie in England. I always wear that on fight day. I've got my gold chain that I got for my 18th from my nan in England. So my feeling is like my family's there with me. That's how I feel when I'm wearing that on fight day. And also I wear another chain what my partner got me, and it was my memory's so crap. What does it say? It says on the chain. It says. I'll remember after. I remember. Frick, damn it. It's a good one. It's a good little quote. But it's just something that's something I wear as well. So I've got my family overseas. I got both. I got it's just a family. I think I feel like my family's there with me. My partner, my kids there with me. Also, my missus has a similar necklace she wears when I fight on the same day. So I don't know. It's just something small that I do. That's something I do on fight days.
Cool, man.
It used to be as well. I used to have a steak. They used to be like, I need a steak. That used to be a thing. And then they used to like, I need a steak, because I think I had a steak one day and I did Maine, and then found out at the nutritionist like you shouldn't be having a steak. It's heavy. You gotta go into the fight light. But it's all learning. But that was a hard transition because I used to always have a steak, so it was like something that played on my mind. I was like, frick, I need a steak this is my tradition kind of ritual thing. And then the first time I didn't have the steak, I was obviously like, frick, I didn't have the steak. I was like a bit nervous about it. But not having a steak, it just put me on another level. Having a nutritionist, shout out to Mark Rainbow. He's my nutritionist. He's been with me for the past 2 years, year or two. And I just feel a huge difference in my training and my performance and cutting weight, everything. Yeah.
It's awesome, bro.
So what's the next step in terms of, you mentioned having a nutritionist is like up things to the next level. What other support do you imagine needing in the future that will take you like the next level?
What other sport?
Or like other support person or like support talent or skill that you're like, man, once I get one of those, that's going to take me next level.
It was a mental trainer at one point that lots of people said to go and see a mental. I did for a little bit. For whatever reason, I didn't get much out of it. I guess everyone's different. I think what else? Nutrition. No, I think what I'm doing is right. I feel I don't think I need many more, because also Alina, she does my strength and conditioning, which is Isaac's wife. So it's all in house. I reckon that's the best thing. Everything's all in house. So everyone knows everything. Yeah.
What's that myth where you're not supposed to have like sex during fight camp? Is that a thing?
People say, some people don't. No, whatever.
People, not me.
There's a phase in fight camp.
Because Pete used to fight and he used to always have like a cookie before he went up.
And that's why I lost every time. Oh man, bro.
What are you wearing under your trunks when you're fighting? Is it jockeys or is it underwear?
I was wearing boxers. To be honest. I went for a stage where like I had these undies and I did mean, and that was the undies I always wore.
Were they triangle ones?
Like
jockeys.
jocks.
Oh, jocks.
Yeah. Is that what you bearing?
They're trying to promote these mandate triangle undies. Oh yeah.
Oh man, this is cool, bro. Well, obviously with the training and all that, you talk about obviously you're loyal. You're loyal to Isaac and Peach Boxing, which is really cool. But also you mentioned the ritual in terms of your family. I wonder if we could just touch base on your family, because that must mean a lot to you. Obviously, your heritage, you touched on your heritage. But what does it mean for you personally? What does it mean for you in terms of family and culture, ethnicity? How does that inspire you? What does it do for you mentally and physically?
I think it's huge because when I came from England to New Zealand, it was a bit of a shock. Like, we've just moved across the whole world, left all my family that we saw every day. You know, at the start it was hard, and I was young at the same time, so it was kind of like I didn't really start to understand what was happening until I got a little bit older. But as I got a little bit older, I was thinking like, why are we here? Why? That's what I used to say to my mom and dad. I was like, why are we here? Why? Blah, 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 blah. But then as I grew up, I started understanding it and appreciating the move they made, because the reason why they moved, just opportunities, and they were travelers. My mom and dad, their thing together, they loved to travel around, and they both seen an opportunity in New Zealand. They took it, and I'm happy as I met my partner, had my son, and found my passion for boxing. So I can't look back at it. Obviously, I miss my family. I miss my family a lot. It's far away. It's flipping far, England. But another huge goal would be to get a fight in England. That would top it. To have a fight in England, have all my family come to the fight. That'd be cool. Yeah,
That'd be real cool.
Yeah.
Man, when you make that money, the regular trips.
Surely.
Yeah, man. That's so cool, bro. It's like, what do you think? Because into your boxing, what is your greatest asset when you jump in the ring? What do you think this is my thing, my skill set. This is what I'm immaculate in.
My reflexes, I reckon. I think I have really good reflexes. Yeah, I always go back to saying that. I think my reflexes are really good, and you need to have it. You got to be on point. And I think having reflexes, people ask like, where does it come from? But I'm not quite sure. It's just, I sometimes say like, because I was a hypo dude, so I'm just always on the move, always maybe. But I think it's something countering a punch. That's something good. But I think that's something that I was. My coaches saw that I was all right at, and they kind of built on it. And it made me improve into a better counter puncher. My free reflexes was better. But yeah, I think counter punching and my reflexes, I think those are my two bigger attributes, yeah.
It's cool.
Is that where the name the Panther came from in terms of reflexes, or
That's part of it. Like it was a random one with the Panther. Like someone in the gym was like out of nowhere, like, it should be the Panther. And I was like, oh yeah. It was honestly, it was one of those. It kind of went with it, and then everyone started calling me the Panther. I felt it went with my last name, Jerome Pampellone. Kind of just worked, and I kind of went with it. Exactly that. The stalking down, taking out your opponent. It's just something I kind of stuck with. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the most awkward moment in boxing for you?
Awkward one. It was an awkward one. I'm trying to think. Frick, it was awkward. I don't know, in general? Like just
In general, it could be the changing room, locker room, or the stare down, or one of your rituals that no one gets to see. The door knows off. But you can share it here to millions of viewers. To the millions.
I'm trying to think, bro. What's the awkward one? Oh, frick, what's the awkward one? Oh, you got me there. I can't think of anything on the spot. Sorry, yeah. Can't think of anything right now.
it hasn't happened yet?
Shit.
Most exciting or exciting moment of boxing.
Most exciting. Frick, there's been a lot of freaking great moments. I can't lie. There's been a lot of great moments. For my amateurs, most exciting moment would be beating the Egyptian in my third fight, and he was an Olympian.
Wow.
That was and I beat him to go into the top 8 of the world. That as an amateur, that was my like top fight. That I beat an Olympian, and it put me in the top 8 in the world. That was, as an amateur, that was huge. As a pro, I would say winning my first belt as a pro. Yeah, win my first belt. Yes.
Cool, man. But how's the transition into the amateur to pro now?
Yeah. Lots of people ask that, but I feel when I first started boxing with Isaac and Bose, their thought was like, he's gonna be a pro. So I had a pro style from the beginning. So as an amateur, like you see the amateurs, they bounce around, move around, but they taught me the pro style from the beginning. Just stalk down your opponent and beat him up. That was what they were teaching us. But obviously, there's a way to do it, obviously. But they've always taught me the pro way, and I feel that's definitely helped me for when I joined the pro straight away. Yeah,
It's cool, man.
Has Isaac ever had to fire you up with like a speech just to like get you going? Maybe you haven't been quite hitting gear, and then he's just
in training or the fight.
fight.
Yeah, because I've seen other trainers slap their fighters and say, wake up.
Nah, he's different with all of us. We're all different, but I feel with me, excuse me, he doesn't shout at me in the corner and stuff like that. He just tells me directs me the right way. I think it's in the corner with him and Bose. It's quite chill. Obviously, if it gets to a point where he needs to, he's definitely done it before with other fighters. If you've seen with Andre when he had a fight, he just rocked them up hard. But like I said, everyone's different. I think it's all timing. There's not a need to do it if it doesn't need to happen. But in the corner, I think it feels quite chill. Keeps me relaxed. Keeps me focused. Yeah.
And you mentioned in the gym, like during training, has he ever had to give you a talk during training just to like lift your spirits or like kind of get you across the line?
Yeah, I reckon a lot because training's flipping hard. It's flipping hard, especially in the middle of camp. Like just previously, just even though I might not be doing too well, and like say my bag work or whatnot, he just needs to come over. Like when we're training, he's always walking around. Come on, all the time. But there's having someone in your ear, like Isaac and Bose in your ear constantly. It just gets you through it. I reckon, yeah. Having them constantly like just encouraging. They understand what we're doing and understand what we got to do to get to that level. Yeah.
What are some of the sacrifices you've had to make that people don't understand or don't see?
What's the biggest sacrifices? Probably just missing out on big events, stuff like that. I reckon. Simple things like, obviously, but that's ages ago, like not drinking with the boys and that. That's way past that now. But just things like, it's hard because obviously being an athlete, you don't drink, but then if you don't drink, you eat. But then obviously when I'm in camp, I can't eat. So I'm a bit stuck, so I'm just on the waters. But what's my biggest sacrifice? It was just, I reckon, just being tired a lot. I think being tired a lot and coming home tired, I think that's a huge sacrifice because my energy's not there for when I get home. But then, like I was saying before, I understand that it needs to be. Yeah.
But that's cool because you've mentioned, because some of these young ones that are coming through, that's a massive sacrifice for them, like seeing their boys wanting to go out and they go out for drinks and you miss out, and that's some of the decisions that they have to make. But you look back now and you're like, oh, yeah, it's just become the norm. Yeah. But probably back then, was it a big thing, or are these some of the stuff that these young ones have to sort of? Definitely
at the start, missing out. Obviously, get the feeling of missing out, But that's another huge thing. My friends, they understand what I'm doing. So just have a drink, just have a drink. They understand what I'm doing, and it's a dangerous sport as well. I can't be out there drinking, doing this and that, eating bad food, because but they understand. I still try to go to all these events and not drink, but at the same time, I can't be out late either. Yeah. So, like, there is a lot of sacrifices. Yeah, there is.
It's cool, and it's good. You got a young family, so they keep you on your toes, and
always going back home to them. It's always just like,
And it sounds like you got no Samoan friends because these friends understand you.
It's pretty good thing.
It's good.
I've got a few Islander friends. Yeah, cool. I do. But like they understand it. But they love to have fun.
Yeah.
So, that's cool. Well, I just understand this. I'm on a different path.
Yeah. And man, the end goal, man, that must be always on your mind. Like, yeah, I'm making all these sacrifices for.
Yeah, 'cause like I said at the start, I was like, oh frick, I'm missing out. But now it's like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not missing out. I got bigger things.
Yeah.
I got bigger things. Don't get me wrong. I love being around my mates and that. I just don't have to drink.
Yeah.
That's a cool perspective to have in terms of like, you could go around being like, oh man, missing out. Like, I want to go hang with my friends. But then flipping that into like, I've got goals. Like, this is all part of the sacrifice. It's necessary for you to get to where you want. What's the most important attribute you think that a boxer should have? Is it discipline? Is it determination? Is it a good support system? Like, what do you think is the most important key ingredient for you to be successful in boxing?
Discipline. I reckon that's first and foremost, discipline. And go all around the board with discipline. Your food, your sleep, I don't know what else. But discipline is huge. Everything around it. You just got to understand that, like I said, the sport you're in, it's dangerous and you got to be on point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man, I had one corporate fight and I remember like just trying to invest into that training. Man, it was so tough. Like, you're always thinking about like
The training?
and then the other person go, man, am I doing enough?
Yeah.
And go, oh shucks. And it was my like first one and then shucks. And I have so much respect for boxers. Like, we have so many couch potatoes that like, or couch coaches that like go, oh man, they should have done this, or come on, give it 1-2. But it's like, bro, just training for something like that, and versus like seeing these pros and seeing what you have to invest into, man. There's so much respect also.
I appreciate it.
It's something that you've invested your whole life towards. It's massive.
You gotta love it, eh? You gotta enjoy it. You can't be just doing it because you wanna be good at it. Obviously, you want to be good in it, but you gotta love it. It's it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You gotta. That's the goal. I just wanna just live it. I just wanna live it.
Just speaking on lifestyle, because obviously it's a lifestyle that you have to share with, the missus and your son. Was your missus all good with the lifestyle straight away, or did it take some adjusting? Was she aware of like kind of how you lived your life or how you were going to live your life? What's that adjustment process been like for her in terms of you have to do these things, so she kind of has to adapt a little bit in terms of the way she lives life?
Yeah. Similar to what I said with the flow. She kind of just went with the flow. She understood my goal. She understood my dream, and she supported it. She supported it from day one. It's obviously, it must be hard for her because I'm flipping training all the time. I'm tired all the time. Just like I was saying with my son as well. But she understands my goals. She understands what I got to do to get there. I just have her full support. She just knows what I got to. She joins me with my food camp. Like, she's not just like having McDonald's next to me while I'm at the start she was. I'm not gonna lie. No, but she understands. So she just joins me with the journey. Yeah, which makes it easier as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I can imagine the fears like with your partner, because I know you said it's a dangerous sport. The fight game is dangerous. Have you ever considered like, man, what if I get knocked out? What if this happens? What if I get hit so hard? Or obviously you think of all the dangers in terms of brain damage, all that kind of stuff. What are your thoughts on that? Have you kind of contemplated like, ooh?
You do think about that, 100%. You do think about that, but then I look at the other side of it. Without boxing, what would I be doing? Boxing's done. Obviously, there's a dangerous side to it, like you said. But boxing's done so much for my life, like so much. It's just like I said, it just kept me on the straight and narrow in my life. It gave me a focus, made me appreciate things more. Made me,
It's good, man.
That's so cool.
Just
I
interesting.
feel like we all need a focus. I think just thinking like there's a lot of us in life, a lot of men in life that are still trying to find that thing that's worth their focus, that's worth their attention, and they can give them the kind of pain they're willing to endure. And it's just really cool to hear what boxing has done for you and how it's not chance, because it almost feels like it's almost been destiny, the way that everything's worked out, and you've been able to roll with it and find this thing that's worth your focus, your whole attention, changing your lifestyle, but it gives you a pain that not many people can live with, but you're one of those that are like, I don't know if you enjoy the pain. Do you enjoy the pain that comes with boxing, like recovery, physical pain, but also the mental strain? Or is it just something that you've accepted? Do you come to love it eventually, or?
I love winning. I think that's what it's for, eh? Like, it's for the win. You know, I know I'm doing all this to get my hand raised in that ring. You know, I just know what I got to do to beat my opponent, and whatever it takes at the same time. But yeah.
Because what are your thoughts, Jerome? Are you seeing a lot of these young guys, and a lot of us, we kind of work with a lot of young students, the brothers here as well. And so, what are your thoughts when you see a lot of these guys who are kind of putting online and put on social media and filming themselves fighting and getting into rumbles and trying to get into the fight game, or just fighting in general? What are your thoughts on that? Because I run a boxing program in the schools, and a lot of the times I get kind of like a bit of flack saying, "Hey, no. This is going to increase bullying. This is dangerous. You're going to get all the kids who are going to end up trying to fight. You're teaching these drills." What are your thoughts on that? Do you think boxing promotes that kind of bully mentality, or because for me, I think it's the opposite.
Yeah.
I think it's quite focused, discipline, like you're saying.
Yeah. No, same.
What are your thoughts?
I feel the same way. You know, everyone looks at it as boxing. You know, you're just punching each other. You're punching each other, but I feel with boxing, you get respect. You respect people more. You know, you understand. How do I put that? I think it's more of a understanding. Boxing, it's a hard sport. It's something that I'd say a lot. If you're fighting on the street, and then why not give boxing a go? And why not make a bit of money from it? You know, if you're good at fighting on the street, try and do it in the ring. You know, you're less likely to get hurt. You can make a career out of it. I think I keep saying I feel boxing saves lives. I think so, because it just gives you a want to do something every day. And I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Cool, that's cool.
Have you been noticed more since you've like hopped on the pro scene, and like the notoriety, has it has it fed into your ego, or how do you manage like being a little bit more noticed now?
I'm quite a shy person in that sense. When people come up and be like, "Oh, bro," I was like, "Yo, can I have a photo?" and stuff like that. I'm still getting used to that, but at the same time, it's a proud feeling. You know, I understand I'm doing something good here. You know, but I'm just getting used to it, because I never knew this was gonna happen. You know, I'm just, like I said, I'm going with the flow. I'm getting a little bit more closer. I understand I got to do certain things. I got to come out of my shell a bit more. Got to be confident with my talking. Because
Yeah, man. And once you're gonna be one of those famous guys, because you're skacks as well. So
yeah, bro, yeah. So who are the fans? Is the guys or?
So you can do it now. Let's do our OnlyFans page.
Sorry. The OF belt. The OnlyFans champion.
But it's cool, man. It's exciting to like have this interview with you now in this stage of your career, and us getting to sort of like witness the journey as you progress, and just imagine the doors that could open for you and your family and your loved ones. Yeah,
100%. That's a huge drive. You know, just knowing that even though I'm helping myself, I can also help others. You know, help my family, and then if I get the chance to help people outside of it as well. So I keep saying I just love what I'm doing. I understand what comes with it. You know, people obviously watch me all the time, so I gotta. I feel be myself, but I gotta say the right things, and by saying the right things, I'm just being myself. So, yeah.
And I love the humility that comes from you also.
Sure,
and it's hopefully, I know that you're a person that probably stay the same. You got that loyalty, that respect, and I know your family and your loved ones, like they're the ones who keep you grounded. So it's so cool. Your involvement with the boxing gym, like, do you coach a lot of these young ones that are coming through, or like?
I wouldn't say I'm coaching them, but I give them tips now and then. Yeah. Because obviously I'm getting coached, so I'm focusing on me. But I'm when people ask me pointers and stuff, I'm freaking happy as when they ask. It's because I got a bit of knowledge behind it. Yeah, I'm happy as that, because we got a few young boys in our gym. They're about 18 and they're just coming through the amateur. So me talking to them now and then, just explaining that we were all there. If you stick to it, you could travel the world. You could fulfill your dreams. Yeah.
And do you have? Because youth worker and we all work with young people, and we always, around these rough around the edges, young people, and like, do you have some of those ones come into the gym, and do you feel like a sense of like wanting to give back to them?
Yeah, I would say so. Everyone, they're at the age about 17, 18, so they're getting, manly and thinking they're the man and all that, as you do at that age. But it's cool, just like I said, just answering their questions, any questions they have, just being there for them and just explaining to them that keep doing what you love and you can go far with it.
Yeah, that's me. Chopper.
It's cool, man.
What's the most humbling experience you've had?
I would say that time where I lost. It was a bad loss. I flipping got dropped, and the ref had to call it off. That was a stank loss. That was probably like my 20th fight at the ABA in front of all my family and friends. I laugh about it now because it was so long ago, because I've gone past that now. But that was but it was a huge experience. The thing is funny because it's not funny, but after the fight, I was freaking stink buzz. Obviously, my friends and my family came down to the changing room, and I was walking down the changing room, and then I did the angry punch the wall. I did the angry in my dad. I was like, bro, don't break your hand. That would be stinky. Break my hand and I lost it. That's just. I just had a moment where I was just embarrassed, I guess. I just freaking came. It was stink. It popped out, but that experience was a huge experience. Knowing that, it humbled me a little bit as well. Knowing anything can happen. Anything can happen in the sport. So prepare. Yeah.
How did you deal with that loss? Like, because you would have had all these emotions and you would have sunk a bit. Like, did it take you a while to lift yourself back up? Or?
Yeah, so I think when it happened, that's also at the same time as well. Isaac played a huge part. He just said to me that, like, sometimes, like, you got caught with a shot. This happens. This is a sport. He always said to me, you can go far with it. Sometimes you get caught with a shot. Sometimes now it's just time to freaking train hard and make sure it don't happen again. But like I keep saying, that's a huge learning experience. It just gave me another understanding of the sport. Like, anything can happen. That's why I bust my ass in the training every day, day in, day out. Respect the sport, respect your opponent, and yeah.
Were you feeling confident going into that fight? Like, I'm going to beat this guy.
But then, that was definitely me. I was feeling confident, but then at the same time, maybe I look back at, maybe was I feeling too confident? Maybe was I not underestimating him? I definitely wasn't underestimating, but maybe I was being too like, I got this, and that fight gave me understanding, and it's like, you go in confident, but you go in there with the known of anything that could happen.
It's good, bro.
Do you have any other goals outside of boxing as well? Or just laser focus on?
I feel that's me at the moment. I'm just world champ is the goal. Yeah, I'm trying to think what would my other goals be. I think I want to get that goal first, and then maybe open up new goals. Yeah,
I mean, because I see WWE, I see, man, this guy can easily be. You can wear my underwear and risk me that.
Oh man,
Has there ever been any difference or like conflict of opinions between, say, family or partner and Isaac?
Nah, I wouldn't say so. No, I wouldn't say so. They understand what I'm doing, and they understand what Isaac has to do for me, and the things I got to do to get there. I think that's huge. Like your mum and dad, your partner, they all got to be on the same boat. You know, they know Isaac well. They know Isaac's family well. I think it has to be like that. You know, you got to all be on the same page, otherwise it won't happen.
Nice.
Interested to know what else makes up who you are as a person, like your family, your culture, your partner, your wife. You know, you got the Peach family. Is there anything else that contributes to the formation of who you are?
Yeah, like any other hobbies?
Faith,
Love music.
Yeah. What are you listening to? What's the genre?
I'm a big fan of J. Cole. I've always been a big fan of J. Cole. He's my favorite rapper. But because people say, like, I used to wear earphones before my fight and be like, pump me up, like, fuck, I'm ready. But then I felt that used a lot of my energy, and it kind of gave me the focus of, fuck, I just want to knock him out, not the focus of what I had to do in the ring. So I stopped the earphones thing, just kind of went with what was going on, talking to people. Obviously, I was still focused, but I just didn't get into a mode of like, fuck, I'm here to smash. I'm just here to.
But that music's useful in the other. I listen to Chocolate Leagues.
The other 12 rounds.
Oh shit! Oh man.
12 rounds to 12 minutes now. 2 minute rounds. Oh, that's cool.
But I say that, but in training, our coach plays his own music, and it's chill, you know. It's chill sort of music. Old school. He's about 40 now, so it's his kind of age group. It's chill music. So I thought that's another part. You know, you're there to focus, have fun, obviously, and having that. I feel stopping the kind of the gangster music just kind of just made me more focused. Yeah, I reckon.
And so no other outside influences like for you that you sort of glean off or turn to for motivation. You just have this community, this inner circle.
I watch a lot of motivational stuff on YouTube, like boxing sort of motivational stuff. Those are good to watch. I like to watch the All Access, which pretty much they go through their camp, seeing their mentality, seeing what they do. So I do watch that. Obviously, I watch fights to get pinpointers of, you know, what I can do better, what I need to do better. But yeah.
Oh, you're such a student of the game, man.
Yeah, man.
And I heard you like always listen to Mandate for motivation.
Shout out to Mandate.
I heard you, bro. I guess, bro. Bro, yeah, because we really believe that you will be champ one day, bro. And we're not just saying just for the sake of saying it. We do believe you're going to be champion one day. And I think Jay touched on it, Jerome, in terms of how do you keep yourself in that state of mind, and how do you keep yourself in a place where you just, after every fight or every championship fight, that you stay at that top. Because I can understand there might be a lot of pressure, but also after you win a bout or something, yeah, I've done that before, and it's sometimes hard to maintain that kind of same level of energy to defend the title. What would you do?
Nah, I don't feel. I feel every fight I'm on top of the world. You know, I'm one step closer. Every fight I'm just like, yeah, trusting the process. Each fight means something. You know, if it goes 10 rounds, if it doesn't go 10 rounds, it's all playing a part to where I want to be. Yeah, I think a big thing in trusting the process, you know, just understanding each fight, like I just said, each fight it happens for a reason, and the results is for a reason. That's why I'm training day in, day out. Well, we live in the gym, you know. After the fight, we're back there on Monday. And this is what we do, and we understand that's what we got to do.
That's so cool.
It's good, bro. Focus. It is. I think. Yeah, just because you're talking a lot about discipline and focus, man. I think there's a lot of things that a lot of our men can learn from. I think because sometimes we live in a day and age where we're just bombarded with all these other things, and you pull left, right, and center, your social media, all this kind of stuff, and it's hard to focus sometimes. Yeah. But I like your laser sharp focus and discipline. I think it's kind of missing here.
So it's like a breath of fresh air, because that's why I'm asking all these questions around like what makes you tick, what are these other influences. But man, you're so like, it sounds simple, but laser focus, and you know who you need around, you know what you need to do, and it's just a season of grinding and just living the way you need to for this, for whatever's the next chapter. So for me, it's like, it's cool, because we often think we need a bit of this, we need some of this kumbaya stuff, and, but man, like, just you're straight to the point, like you know what you need, and it seems quite simple, but it's goes with like your personality, like just
I feel what I'm doing is working. So why change it? Yeah. I feel that's how I look at it. Yeah.
Just need undies, these strong undies. It'll take you to the next levels.
See me at the weigh-in that way.
Man, I gotta get these manufacturers.
Yeah, man.
So your next weigh-in, man, you see, he's gonna lose now. He's gonna lose. That's cool, man.
But it is so cool, Jerome. I like your discipline. And I think that's quite, I don't know, but it's not rare. But in terms of to be the champion and to have that mindset, like Jay was saying, you know, what puts you, what makes you stand out, and why do champions, the absolute killers, why they do this? Like, you look at Michael Jordan, all these kind of guys, just crazy ability to withstand and endure pain, and just laser sharp focus. And so, bro, and that's why I said before, like, when you become the champion, because some people are like, okay, I have to defend my title. Like, it's harder and harder just to have to maintain that level and to maintain that focus. And so that's cool that you're quite balanced. You're quite, you know who you are. I think that's what this. I think there's your identity in terms of who you are. You know exactly who you are and what you want.
And also that champion thing. Before I was a champion, you know, I was gunning to be the champion. But now that I'm on champion, I know there's people gunning for me.
Yeah.
So that's another part, and makes me train hard, because I know the situation or the point of where I'm at the moment. People want to take that away from me, and I've got here, and I ain't gonna let them do that. You know, that's how I feel. Yeah.
That's crazy to think about, eh? And like you mentioned before about watching tape, about, you know, opponents and looking at potential things that you could pick on, but then the amount of people that'll be watching tape of you and your fights and like picking at little things, and I guess you have to, and I guess that's the importance of having people like Isaac and the rest of the team around, where like you're able to focus on what you need to do to capitalize on things you might have noticed, but they're also able to help you recognize the things that you need to do to little tells or like things that you can improve on for yourself that the opponent might be looking at?
Yeah, because some people in our gym, they say they don't watch much of the opponents, but I'm the opposite side. The guy I'm fighting, I'm like I'm like paying attention. I'm watching. I think that's just something. I think that's another bit of I guess a bit of nervousness as well in what I have ahead of me, and a bit of understanding of what I need to do to win. I think so. I do watch a bit of my opponents. And I feel that helps. Understanding how they fight, everything that helps hard.
Oh, that's cool.
You're a true student. You're a real true student to the game. So you always hear that they say in the sweet science of boxing.
Yeah.
In your own words, what is the sweet science of boxing?
Ooh. Spot there.
Charles, what do you think?
So 1, 2, 1, 2.
What would be the sweet? Free sweet science would just be understanding of the game. I would say that's the first thing that came to my mind. The sweet science, the understanding of the game, and that's it. Understanding the game, because there's a lot to it, and understanding all parts of it. What you need to do, what you don't need to do, when you do it, when you do it, when you don't need to do it. Yeah, I think just understanding. Yeah.
Awesome, bro. Me.
Have you had any trolls in the last few years? Or?
I've had like that. It's funny when I had someone message me the other day, like, "Oh, what did he say?" Like, "Gee, you figure the man won out?" Or something like that. He ran the man. So, but it was like a there's accounts with like there's fake accounts. You get the odd ones like that. You get people sometimes saying, "Bro, you're gonna get knocked out again at your next fight." You get that. But I guess you get that with freaking anything. If you're doing well, there'll be always someone trying to be a dickhead.
Just brush it off.
Yeah.
Do you watch any other sports?
Yeah, watch rugby. Watch the rugby league. Not too hard to be honest. I do, but not too hard.
Which league team are you watching?
You do I support? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Warriors.
Up to wild.
Have to.
No, oh man, this would be cool, man. Honestly, because I don't know if you got training in the morning. We're gonna be mindful, but it's just it's cool just to really unpack what makes you tick and your passion for the sport. And honestly, I'm really feel quite privileged, like having you here, and especially in this season of where you're at, and where we always have this feel like we have this special connection with our guests. Once they come on and then when they leave, honestly, we think about all our guests. Like we always want the best for them, and we always sort of track them, and then just hopefully that as you continue to grow, win or lose, even if you don't get the champ status, that whatever you endeavor to do, only hope for the best for you and your family.
Appreciate
and,
that.
And just know, man, it's so cool. I just love that whole, like how you're just laser focused, and you just have this good understanding of where you are and where you want to be. And so can't wait, champ.
Yeah,
Can't wait, champ.
Awesome to hear it from someone else. It's awesome to hear it from someone else. Thank you.
I'll send out the undies to you. That's ready.
Yeah, I think just similar to what the boys have said, man, that's really cool. You mentioned the quote, "Actions speak louder than words," and like I can tell just from our conversation, like in the short time that we've had to talk, like it's just cool to see you actually live that. And when you mentioned you need discipline, not just for yourself, but all around you. It's really cool to see the relationship that you have with everyone in your life. Like, it seems like it's not just they're backing for you to go and like accomplish your goals, but everyone's on the ride with you. Like they're all supporting and growing with you, and I think that's really amazing. Just I was curious. Your son's really young now, but when he grows up, what's the one thing you want him to remember about you, or you want your family to like talk to him about you? What's the one thing you want them to remember about you?
Caring, loving, and respectful. Yeah, I think those are the things that came to mind.
Awesome. Man, just like the brothers, Jerome. Man, it's been awesome, brother, to have the talanoa with you and the korero with you. I think the greatest thing in terms of the learning tonight is just about you is your focus, your discipline, but also your diligence. A lot of people can wish for something and can attain or try to ascertain all this knowledge and skill set. But brother, you're actually doing it. You're actually walking it, and you actually know where you're heading. And so, props to you, bro. All the best for you in terms of the up and coming fight. So thanks for the tickets as well. We really appreciate it. But bro, seriously, all the best, bro. All the best of your endeavors. One day, man, we're going to see you lift that belt up, man. And so all the best, bro. And thank you so much for tonight. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having us. Coming out of my shell again, doing a podcast for the first time. But you guys made me feel comfortable as, everyone's cool as here. I appreciate it, give me a shot.
Awesome, bro. But every guest that comes on, bro, we always give them a gift. And so just behind you, Charles, we got a gift for you. And so we made a caricature of who you are as our guest, who we envisioned you to be. And so on behalf of the Mandate team, this is for you, Jerome.
Hey,
it's for you, my brother.
Shot, bro.
Awesome, bro.
Thank you.
I
appreciate that.
Thank you, bro.
Did you draw it?
Yeah, man.
Did you?
SOP.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
But was anyone that you could think of, bro, that would be cool to come on the podcast, Jerome?
Who could come on?
Anyone you could think of?
Isaac will be a good person to talk to. Yeah, bro.
Cool.
He'll give you a mean insight of everything. He'll be cool. It's gonna be cool to talk to. I reckon Isaac, bro. He'll be mean.
Oh, man. Awesome, cool. Bro. Awesome. That's cool, bro. But thank you once again, bro. We always give our guests the last words. If you want to give any words of encouragement or wisdom for our men out there.
Just find something that you love to do, I guess. Stick with it. Don't worry about what people got to say. If you love it, do what you love.
Yes, awesome, bro. Awesome, man, champ. So please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also we look forward to your well-thought-out comments. And as usual, brothers,
refine,
unlock,
take charge.
Mandate.